Has anybody ever gotten on stage and realized just before they've gotten on how badly they needed to go to the bathroom? That is where I'm at right now. So first and foremost, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm super honored to be able to talk to you guys today. I'm actually relatively new in enablement. I spent years in teaching and as a chef. I spent years teaching adults and the public about nutrition and cooking and all that fun stuff. And then I joined a restaurant software company in sales because I moved here to Austin, and in my back seat, my future boss got in there and we started talking. And I said, I've always wanted to be in sales, but I don't want to join a company where they hire 100 people and hopefully 10 make it through their onboarding process. Oh, we're not like that. So I actually started working for a company called Restaurant 365, and in March, when all the restaurants shut down, I was gone. But before I was gone, I had the opportunity to build a really high-quality onboarding process, which I'm really thrilled about. And then just most recently, I joined a company called Network for Good. We were just purchased by a huge company. We went from 130 employees to 1,300 overnight. So the onboarding program that I built for them, we need to figure out how to scale. So that's going to be that's my challenge. But I think Patty had some really great points about the sales coach, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. How to move beyond just being a manager and into being a great coach. And so I've got like 10 slides. It's not going to take 30 minutes, just to read slides to you. So what I'm hoping for is that when you see a question on the screen, you're ready to participate and you're ready to answer. Shout it out if you so wish. I hope the table I've been sitting with earlier today is ready, willing, and able. But anyway, let's talk about that. So my first question to you is, what's the difference between managing and coaching? Anybody have any thoughts on that? Voluntold. Okay. Sure. So you said managing, very tactical, reactive, coaching, leading with sharing, and having a full understanding, being collaborative. What else? I got a hand raised? Yeah, for sure. Anything else? Anything that's unique or different? In the black jacket there, what's your name, sir? David, we're going to go to you, and then you in the light green, we're going to come to you next. Coaching is asking, being curious. You'll see that come up. What about you? Yeah. I think all of those answers are valid. Do you guys think all of them are valid? Me too. So I couldn't go without a Ted Lasso reference. Guys have been underestimating me my entire life. And for years, I never understood why. It used to really bother me. And I saw a quote by Walt Whitman, and I hear somebody down here whisper, "That's the best." A quote by Walt Whitman. It was painted on the wall, and it said, "Be curious, not judgmental." So for me, what it comes down to is managers are people movers, process makers, and they're prescribers. And coaches are people who try to strive to empower their team to make decisions and make things happen on their own. And the number one thing that they're good at is curiosity. So why is it important to move managers away from just managing and into coaching? This side of the room has been really quiet, so does anybody over here have any thoughts? We need to teach them how to fish. What do you mean by that?
I mean, you may think it's faster to do it yourself, but one day they're going to have to succeed on their own.
Oh my God, you're making my point for me. And then, so she said, you think it's faster just to tell them how to do something, but one day it won't be, right? Yeah.
So building on what Holly said, Katie,
Hi, Katie.
teaching them to fish is actually going to help you scale. And so if you're in a high growth company where you're actually trying to build a very productive team, you have to empower them to have those critical thinking, share best practices, have a safe space to share when they try something and fail, so that everyone doesn't make that same mistake again.
That safe space is critical, right? That safe space to try something new is critical. So referring to my notes on the slide here, when you're just a manager, you become the bottleneck in your company, right? Why is that? Because your team members will come to you and expect you to answer every single question and do parts of their job for them. But if you have a great coach and you've empowered them and you've taught them how to fish, oh, I'm so excited right now. You taught them how to fish, they start taking action on their own, right? They're no longer complacent. They feel as though they can do the things to get their jobs done in a meaningful way. Coaches, on the other hand, are curious, right? They want to understand where their teams are and their motivations are. And they want to work with the entire human that they're working with, not just the person that sits in the work seat. What do you guys think about that? You're shaking your head, yes. Do you agree?
We hire a lot of new individuals to the workforce. We're seeing a lot of Gen Z right now in the workforce, and I think it's very important to embrace people. That's the only way you're going to get them a workforce position.
It's really important. She says, what's your name?
Brogan.
Brogan? Brogan says it's really important to what? Embrace the people, right? So I have another question for you. How many people have a sales methodology in place at their organization right now? Could it be BANT, MEDIC, Spiced, Sandler, all that fun stuff, right? How long did it take you guys to develop that or implement it? Because basically we stole it from someone, right? Right? My next question for you is, how many of you have a coaching methodology in place? You do? That's amazing. You're pointing at him? You're the leader of the coaches. That's great. So you're going to have a lot of great information as we go through this, right? Right? So, but what would happen if you have a coaching methodology in place? Give me an example of what happens when you have a coaching methodology in place.
When you have it in place?
Yeah.
Then you get consistent growth and what the coach is trying to do.
What's your name, sir?
James.
James says you have consistent growth. James, you've been to the gym, man. You got some guns going on there, buddy. I'm jealous. You get consistent growth and scalability. What else did you say? Yeah. Anybody have any other thoughts on what happens when you have a coaching methodology in place?
They all have the same verbiage. So
Oh, man, you're leading right into my notes, so thank you for that.
you know what we find too a lot is
What's that?
sometimes when you hear from the leader over and over and over again that this is what you need to do, you have the coaching, it's kind of like hearing from mom and dad. When the coach comes in and says the exact same thing, sometimes they're more willing to listen, and it like resonates. Oh, okay, now multiple people are telling me, I should probably try.
Yeah, so mom and dad's not nagging at you anymore. You've got a third party coming in, maybe the fun uncle or the fun aunt coming in, right? We had a certification, that actually reminds me, we had a certification call yesterday where we do it over Zoom and you have to hit certain skills. And the managers were giving feedback. And when it became my turn, I just said, Macy, just what did you like and what you didn't like about your performance? I gave her the opportunity to speak first, right? And then behind the scenes, I just said, you're a baller, keep doing what you're doing. But her response was, this morning when I got back on Slack, thank you so much. It means so much coming from you because it's a different voice. But anyway, if you have a coaching framework in place, Your managers will have a fundamental framework for a team, just like James said, for improvement. Your reps will understand how to be coached better. They will understand that there is a framework that they should be getting from their managers. And then the other cool thing, if you look at it from a business perspective, and kind of going back to what Patty said, 9 to 14% more profitability, revenue from a great coach, you would have a defined set of skills for your managers that could be measured on other than quota attainment, right? This one is super important, so I wrote the whole thing out on the slide. I don't do that very often. A coaching methodology impacts so much more than the bottom line. It brings a cohesive mentality to the entire team. So when team members move from manager to manager, say promotion or different department, they can be assured there will be similarities across the board. This doesn't mean that every manager is going to coach exactly the same way, but there'll be enough similarity that it's a comfort for a team member to go from one team to another. Who agrees with that? Who disagrees with that, more importantly? I'd love to hear who disagrees with that. Ryan's right all the time. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll slightly disagree.
Please.
From the standpoint that some cultures, not in my current company, but a bad coach can be more damaging
Yeah.
than having a manager, someone who doesn't know, versus somebody who inhibits and functions.
Troy, right? Troy, I am going to agree with you 100%. Say it louder for the rest of the crowd. A bad coach. Okay. A bad coach is worse than a decent manager, basically, right? And I agree with that 100%. So we're in lockstep. We're definitely in lockstep. What are the goals and outcomes that you should have if you put a coaching framework in place? Any thoughts? Guillermo, you've been talking to me all morning, so I know that you've got to have some thoughts. What happens when you put a good framework in place? What some of the goals should be? Getting people engaged, okay, that's a great one. Being proactive is a solid one for sure. I'm scanning the room for other. What is the ESAP? Oh, employee satisfaction. See, one of the things that I have a problem with at our company is terminology, especially for new people. They say a bunch of weird acronyms, and I'm like, the hell does that mean, right? And you get into a meeting, and you've got a cohort of brand new BDRs, and all of a sudden, it's nothing but acronym soup, right? But employee satisfaction, that's a good one. I'll have to remember it, right? So one of the things that I think we should think about for a goal or an outcome that we should have is our managers spend less time solving surface level problems in Slack or email or whatever other communication tool that you use, and they start having the ability to move deeper into a solution, right? Where do I find X? I don't know. Did you guru it? Where's she at? She leave? Did you guru it? I can't dance and sing, so. Also, managers will be able to focus on problems that move the needle even more, right? So instead of saying, like, I have a real problem with Jimmy and the way he talks to me, tell me a little bit more about that. What's really going on, right? Also, team members become more empowered to come to conversations with solutions and make things happen. Those are the outcomes that you should expect, right? Whew. The adrenaline's wearing off, so. Creating a coaching methodology. How should we do that? Let's see. Determine the skills your managers need to be a good coach, right? Now, I'm just curious here. And you guys already know one of my answers. What is a great skill that a coach needs to have that a manager wouldn't? Listening, asking questions. You hit my number one, which is curiosity. Is curiosity a skill? Most people, I thank you guys so much for agreeing with that, because most people I talk to say, no, it's a trait. But it takes skill to practice curiosity every single day. My ABCs of sales is not always be closing, it is always be curious. Not only for sales coaches, but for reps themselves, because we teach on a methodology about discovery, right? I saw a hand pop up over here. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Emotional intelligence is a great skill to have, right? We need to define what great looks like. So how do we do that? Well, we do a competency map, just like you would for the sales skills that your team members need to have, right? I did it in an Excel spreadsheet, but you get your stakeholders together at your company and you say, what skills do we need to have for great coaches? And have them list them out. Okay, let's define those skills and give examples of each level of skill. So 1 through 5, 1 through 3, whatever scaling process that you want to have. But you want to also, well, let me start with this. I like to write those examples in I statements. So if I were being evaluated and let's say I got a 3 out of a 3, because I'm, top level. Let's say I got a 3 out of 5, right? The 3 definition might sound like this. I have my team members come to their one-on-one sessions, having completed their pre-work, because I have them do pre-work before they come to my one-on-one sessions, having completed their pre-work material so we can have a productive and informed conversation every single time. A 1 might look like, I hold my one-on-one meetings and don't hold my team members accountable to have their pre-work done, right? So we have to take these metrics and we have to put them somewhere. We have to integrate them into a tool that we can track the metrics, just because, we all love metrics, right? We all love our KPIs that we tote around and show to the board and the executive leadership, right? So we use something like Lattice, but any other HR system may work. Just, Google HR tools, right? So we need to define what great looks like, and then we actually need to find people that exude these skills. And what this means is, they might not be on your team. They may be in IT. They may be an executive leader. They may be, if you're working in an office, somebody that you see every day who is cleaning the bathrooms, right? When I was in the restaurant world, my favorite people were, guess who? Any ideas? My favorite people that I worked with? Bussers and dishwashers. They got steak dinners every single night. Because I knew that if they weren't there, I was washing dishes, right? So we need to find these people and we need to interview them. We need to interview these subject matter experts and actually bring them into the program that we'll talk about creating in a moment, right? Whether we do a live session with them talking about why they believe this skill is so important or how to implement it, include them. I think, Marco, you said earlier, like, it's mine, mine, mine. We have to be selfless. Anybody know who Max Yoder is? The CEO of Lessonly, the founder of Lessonly, which was just sold to Seismic. It's an LMS system. He's got a great book out called, I think it's Do Better Work. One of the principles in that book is share early, share before you're ready. The essence of that is bringing people from the outside world in and allowing them to have an impact on your program. Number 4, we need to create a program that reinforces these skills over time. My biggest fear, or my biggest angst, we need a training on this, right? We need a training on this. And what does that training look like? Hi, I'm going to go over these slides today, and I'm going to be on Zoom, and I'm just going to read every 100 words that are on each slide, right? Does that build skill? No, that is an information dump, and it drives me up the the wall. I know we could curse because I heard you guys say it earlier, but I wasn't going to drop an F-bomb here on stage today. But it drives me up a wall. So the main part of this is the overtime part. How are we reinforcing it from the moment we give them that information to 6 months down the road. Now, this will look different at every organization, depending on your resources. I'm so excited to hear you guys talk about, I can't remember your name off the top of my head. Danny. I was so excited to hear Danny say, whatever you do, I'm not doing a Danny impression, of course. Whatever you do, invest in an instructional designer and a learning development part of your program. And I was just about to get to hire one when they announced our acquisition, so now I'm behind the 8 ball. But anyway, we want to make sure that we build that program so it's reinforced. So how do we reinforce it? We talk about coaching constantly, right? That is the one thing that I have yet to be successful at. I mean, there's tons, but like, it's the one that is relevant here. Like, I'm not that successful, believe me. The one thing that I have the hardest time with is building that coaching culture in the organizations that I've worked with. Well, why don't we get so-and-so, the AE, to talk about this? Well, they don't want to talk about it unless they're getting paid extra for it. They realize it's part of their job, right? No, they sell stuff. If you work at this organization, our mission is to help other people get better every single day. Coaching is part of your job. I'm still working on that. So how do we talk about it constantly besides just me yapping about it in front of people and becoming the annoying mom and dad versus the fun uncle? We make it part of every single one of our conversations, right? So managers meetings, ask your managers, how did you use X skill last week? How did it help you understand your team member better? How are you going to implement it next week, right? All of those things. What feedback do you guys have on that? Have you seen it work somewhere? I would love to know. It sounds like we've got a real problem then, don't we? Right? That's it. What questions do you guys have?
How do we get sales leaders to understand that, in my opinion, coaching comes before the action, because feedback is after they've done whatever.
Sorry, I got a little distracted by that. So say that one more time so everybody can hear.
So for senior leaders, often they think of coaching as the feedback session after whatever they want to talk about is their coaching.
Yeah.
And if you think about it in football, for our football coaches, that it's coaching is what they do. Put me in, coach. Tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Put me in, coach. I practice.
I think that's part of building that coaching culture. I think it's you as an individual. I coach my VP of sales not every day, but a lot. I hear a conversation that they had in one of our meetings or an individual conversation that they're having. Hey, Mark, that was a really great opportunity there to do X, Y, and Z and see where they stood or get their understanding of the situation. Or if we're on a live Zoom session, I'm coaching the individual presenter every opportunity I get. This is a great opportunity for a breakout session, or this is a great question to ask before you give them all the information, right? I got 1 minute. Anybody else? All right, well, and the roar of the crowd. Thank you guys so much. I had a great time. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, Joe. I apologize. Huh? We are hiring. I have, what's that?
Where's your slides?
They took it off. I have one question, and I want one brave person to answer this. What was the most impactful thing that you heard from my presentation today? Troy.
You were honest enough to say you had to go to the bathroom.
I was honest. One more thing. The 5 steps. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I had a great time. Thanks, Joe.